Yo, welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me, we back in the house. Boy, it feels good to be talking about more football rather than having to be talking about what the heck we plan on doing next, right? That's 1 week away possibly because we're going to the juggernaut that is the Bills' house, and we're going to try and steal a game that we have no business winning. But that's a few days away in the preview. Right now, what we want to talk about is just a few things I want to get off my chest. And I want to ask y'all a question, right? Put all the hate aside. Put all the bias aside. Think logically here about the answer you want to give to this question. And obviously, put it in the comment section. Now, before we start, and I ask this question, and then we talk about some other things, I had a goal of 4,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. I didn't meet that goal. And it's something that, because the season was going the way it was going, and we had lost 5 in a row, it wasn't something I was really keeping track of at the time. But we're going to extend that goal for the rest of this month, okay? While we're in the playoffs and all that. If you have yet to be a subscriber to DU Fam, please do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do DU Fam a favor, and be part of the family. Click that subscribe button. We have content all year long, all right? I try to be as genuine as possible on my channel. I don't always agree with everybody else. I don't always have the same opinions as everybody else. I also try to look at things from a bird's eye view. I try to bring things to you by breaking it down and giving it to you in its simplest form. That's what I'm about on my channel. And I'm also about not being biased. So sometimes I'll say Tua sucks, and then sometimes I'll say Tua was great. That's just the way I like to do it on my channel. If you rocking with that, hit the subscribe button, all right? And I'm all about unifying the entire fan base as well. Although sometimes our topics divide it, but I try to bring everything back, right? So if you feeling that, if you like my content, smash that subscribe button. Help your boy get to 4,000 subscribers. Once I get to 4,000 subscribers, we of course are going to be doing a giveaway at that moment. I don't know if it's going to be money. I don't know if it's going to be free merch like I've done in the past. Maybe I'll give 4 people something on the channel. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But if you help me get to 4,000, there definitely will be a giveaway, whether it's merch or whether it's actual money or something, maybe through Cash App. I don't know. Please help me get to 4,000 by the end of the month. I know you guys can do it. Let's do it together. All right, now, that aside, I had to make sure I put that out. Probably won't be talking about that in any of my other videos. So just please help your boy do that by watching this one and doing accordingly. And also share, right? Share to somebody you may think like that are Dolphin fans that may have never heard of me. They've heard of all the main guys, haven't heard of me, and you think they might like it. Share the content to them, all right? Let them know, hey, there's another guy that, you might want to follow him or watch him for his comments and opinions, blah, blah, blah. So do that as well for me if you are already subscribed. All right, that's how you can help me if you're already part of the DU fam. Now, here's the question, right? Remember, think logically here. We're thinking logically, okay? No biases. Batman Pops, I'm talking to you mainly, right? No biases, bro. No biases. I think Quav 33 or something, talking to you too, all right? You too, bro. Or Quay 33, something like that. I'm talking to you too. Who deserves the credit for the Dolphins making the playoffs? Let me ask the question again. What person or persons deserve the credit for the Dolphins making the playoffs? If you don't want to do persons and you don't feel like that's fair, what quadrant on the team, all right, whether that be offense, defense, special teams, head coach, deserve the most credit? I forgot the most. The most credit for the Dolphins making the doggone playoffs. Okay? That's what I'll say. Most credit for making the playoffs. And I had my answer, my opinion on it. And of course, I want you to give yours. Now, we can break it up percentage-wise if you want. You could just say it's flat out this person if you want. However you choose, so be it. But here's how I plan on doing it. I'm going to break it down for you who I feel is most responsible, then the next responsible, how many ever responsibles I have. I like to keep it simple. We don't have too many. Number one, at 50% of the responsibility, to me, that's Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel coming on this team alone has transformed things for us, has made our offense number 6 in the league when we were in the bottom third of the league last year. We're now in the number 6 offense in the league. That has helped us and propelled us into the playoffs. In my opinion, he gets the absolute most credit for us being in the playoffs. Rightfully so, he is the head coach and he deserves as much blame. And in this case, for getting into the playoffs, as much, I don't know, whatever word you want to use, right? He deserves it for getting into the playoffs. Now, who's second? Who's second, right? If he gets 50%, then how are we even divvying up the rest of the 50? It's a good question. I'm giving 25% of the reason why to Tua. Tua, in my opinion, deserves 25% of the credit of why we are in the playoffs. Now, here's where I have a problem. Skylar got us in. Teddy helped us. And Tua also helped us, right? All the quarterbacks had to contribute to helping us win games. It took all three. It shouldn't have needed to take all three, but it took all three. Nobody is dispelling that. I understand that Tua wasn't playing his best ball at the end of the year. I fully understand that Skylar had to get us in because Tua wasn't available. I fully get all that. But Skylar is not the reason why the Dolphins are in the playoffs. We can't do that. Winning one game, right, or helping to win one game is not why you make the playoffs. No, you make the playoffs because you win a bunch of games, not one game. And Skylar didn't win a bunch of games. He won one game. Now, was it the most important game? Yes, that counts for something, right? And when I'm saying won the game, I know he didn't do it by himself. I know even in Skylar's case, He ain't do that much. He did enough to win that game, right? But he ain't do a lot, which we'll get into all that. He ain't do a lot, but he does get some credit for getting us over the hump because Tua wasn't able to do so due to health issues. But what we cannot do is say that Skyler is the reason why we're in the playoffs, because you had 9 wins to get into the playoffs. Skyler got you 1. Who got you the other 8? Who got you the other 8 wins? Anybody know? Because some people maybe y'all don't know. Did Teddy get 3 of them? Did Skyler get another 1? And did Tua get the rest? Or did Tua get them all? Tua got them all. Tua got 8 wins in 9 games. And the game that he didn't get the win was because he couldn't finish the game because of a concussion. In 9 tries, Tua got 8 wins, and then he fell off. Those wins allowed you to fall off and still have a chance at the end to get into the playoffs. He deserves his credit. Why? He was playing lights out for the most part in those 8 wins. Yes, he had some bad games in those 8 wins. No doubt about it. Okay? But he was one of the top-rated quarterbacks in a lot of different areas during those 8 wins. Tua deserves his credit. He's the quarterback of the team. Without those 8 wins, you're not in the playoffs. Plain and simple. You needed those 8. You needed every last bit of those 8 in order to have a chance at the end to get into the playoffs. If he only gets 7 instead of 8, we don't make it into the playoffs. We needed all 8 of his. Now, did he fall apart? Yes, because he could have got 9, 10, or 11, or 12. He didn't do that. He only got 8. But the 8 he got helped you go into that Jets game with a chance. And a chance you had, and a chance you took hold of to get into the playoffs with Skyler at the helm. So while Skyler does get credit for getting us to that mark, Tua gets credit for his 8 wins. We have to give the man credit. He got 8 wins. It wasn't enough in our opinions, but it was enough to get you into the playoffs. It was enough. It was enough because it's a team game, right? Tua didn't do it by himself either. He had beast wide receivers with him, catching his passes. Great play calling at times. Great offensive line play at times. But he's the quarterback, so he gets most of the credit, most of the blame. Tua deserves 25% of the credit because there were 8 wins on his watch. 25% to Tua. I will give 15% to the defense. Okay? Defense gets 15% of the credit. Why would I give them any credit? It's because we have to remember, right? Yes, the defense was getting killed most of the season. But there were key times in certain games where we needed to come back that the defense allowed for the offense to get the ball back to make plays. And the offense was able to execute. Prime example, Baltimore game. Baltimore was killing us. Fourth quarter, the defense clamped down, did what they needed to do so they couldn't keep running up the score and allowed the offense to come back in that game. You cannot come back in a game when you're down 21 points if your defense doesn't finally start stepping up and stopping them. It's impossible. If you keep scoring and they keep scoring and they were up by 21 points, they're going to finish the game up by 21 points. Defense has to start playing so that you can make it 14-7 and then tie it up and then go up by a touchdown. Like that's the only way it works, right? We don't have to think too hard about that. The defense did it then. Defense did it also against the Lions, where early on they were pouring it on, and then the defense clamped down in the second half, allowed the offense to go ahead and take that game over. Against the Bears, they finally clamped down at some point, and then we allowed us to take over. Against the Jets, great defensive game. So there's been times where the defense stepped up, did what they needed to do so we can get some of these wins and so we can get into the playoffs. They, to me, deserve 15% of the credit. The last 10%, to me, in my opinion, goes to Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Waddle and Tyreek Hill have been instrumental. Without them, you can't get into the playoffs. They have done everything to carry this team on their backs at times in certain games. Tyreek Hill won that game for us against the Ravens. Just off his sheer speed, he had them miscommunicating in the backfield. Certain games, Waddle was just taking over to help us win. All right, we needed both of them to do what they did. And then, by the way, we're talking about guys that I don't even think missed any games this year, right? Those two played every game, I believe. That's not that they didn't go out in games with injuries, but I believe they played every game this year, and they were hobbled at times, and they got out there and they did their job. To me, those two, and they had 1,300 yards and 1,700 yards, 8 or 9 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns, or something like that. 16 combined touchdowns, 3,000 yards. They deserve their credit as well for helping this team get into the playoffs. That's how I would divvy this thing up, right? Because at the end of the day, it was Mike McDaniel and what he was doing on offense, right, to get these 8 wins and to, turn this team back around when they went 3 wins, 3 losses, and got them to win 5 games. Now, he gets 50% of the credit, but he also gets a lot of blame to why we couldn't win at the end of the year except for the last game. Tua gets 25% of the credit of why we're getting in the playoffs because he got 8 wins, and we needed all of them. Although you could give him blame as well. Plenty of it. 15% defense, because without the defense at times, we don't win some of the games we won. And then Tyreek Hill and Waddle, because they've been beasting and available all year. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and I'll give Teron Armstead as well, because that was a big pickup for us, and we needed him. So I'll lump him in. He can get like 1%, while the other 2 get 9, right? So that's where I am with that. You got to give Tua his credit for helping this team get into the playoffs because he got 8 wins to his resume. Was he available all the time? No. Do we need more and better? Yes, we do. But you got to give that man his credit. Now, let's get on to the second half because that was just the first half of what I wanted to talk about. Here is the next part of it. Who deserves to start this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills? Now, we'll make this quick. We're not going to go too long on this. You got Teddy, who has a finger injury. You have Skyler, who has some knickknacks. And then you have Tua, who is still in concussion protocol. We saw what happened with Skyler. Not a lot of offensive output. Yes, they were playing one of the best defenses in the league, probably number 2, I believe, in the league, and they were clamping us down. Like if you watch Dudley Durong's film breakdown, Skyler didn't really do too much wrong. Like he hit who he was supposed to hit. Sometimes he did come off on certain guys. He did shy away from the middle unlike what Tua would do, because there's some times where there were some passes I saw that, okay, Tua would have threw that ball in the middle and he would have completed that because, it's Tua. Like, he throws to the middle. And there's some, like, I already said something. I already talked about this, but I have to just mention it real quick. Tua is above these guys, Teddy and Skylar, because of anticipation and also because of accuracy, right? Those two things, Tua is head and shoulders above these guys in. And yes, people will say, oh, one read, this and that. I'm not worried about that. Is the offense more effective with Tua? Heck yes. Does he put up way more points? Heck yes. So I'm going to go with that. Plain and simple. It just is what it is. You could argue with your mom on that. All right. Teddy has a finger injury. When he was in, it didn't look that great either. But it did look better than what Skylar was doing. So automatically, if Teddy is healthy, you got to start him over Skylar, in my opinion. So Skylar is out of the question. Now, it would be between Teddy and Tua. Who would you rather start in this game? Of course, it would be Tua. But here's the problem. Tua is still in the concussion protocol right now. Tua, as I heard and read today on Twitter, because of the memory loss, because of certain things, may be at risk for permanent damage, maybe. At risk for permanent damage if he gets another concussion this year. They're saying that, hey, you may want to think long and hard about sitting him out for the rest of this year and let him come back next year when his brain is a little bit healthier. So there's that in the air. And you don't want to risk Tua's livelihood for one game. But you also don't want to keep him out for no reason as well, right? So they got their homework to do. And we're going to just trust that they make the right decision, that they do their homework, that they research this thing and make sure that he can't suffer any permanent damage right away from playing this game. If that's not the case and he can't suffer, you got to play Tua because he gives us the best chance to win this game. If there's any inkling that he could suffer permanent damage and needs to wait longer, you have to keep him out. Plain and simple. Shut him down and let's wait till next year and we'll see what we got then. But it's not worth it to play him this game if he could suffer permanent damage just by playing in the game. It's not worth it. All right? I don't care about the win that much. I want to see him, but if we can't see him, then we got to hope Teddy's playing because he's going to give us more offensive output. Yes, the Bills' defense is not as good as the Jets, but I don't see this team putting up 29 points with Skylar in there like Tua did a few weeks back. I just don't see it. Like, if you see it, you tell me, let me know, right? Please enlighten me on how you see Skylar putting up 29 points. Please enlighten me because I don't see it. All right, I just don't. I don't see it. And it's not like 2 or 3 picks in that game. He ain't throw no picks in that game. I don't see it. So, with that being said, Tua, if Tua's healthy enough to go, Teddy, then Skylar, and you already know how I feel about Teddy. So if I'm saying that, it's because my back is against the wall. And I would rather see Skylar, but what I saw from Skylar didn't give me no hope that we have a chance of winning that game. If Teddy gives us 30% chance to win, Tua gives us a 40% chance to win, Skylar's giving me, like, right now, a 5 to 10% chance to win. All right? And honestly, Teddy's giving me like a 20% chance to win, to be honest. So 5% for Skylar, 20%, I'm doing a lot of numbers today. 20% for Teddy, 35 to 40 for Tua if he's able to go. All right? Let me know how you feel about that. Put that in the comment section. 1, who deserves the most credit for us making the playoffs? And if you want If you want to break it down into a few different people, that's cool too. Based on how I did it, that's cool too. And then who do you think should start this Sunday? I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. See y'all in the preview and then after the game. I'm out.